save on the very own.
All right, sounds good.
It's huge when somebody says, "Hey man, that job that you helped me apply for, I got it." My name is Dale Pazinski. I help people achieve financial independence. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way.
30 seconds.
Council.
All right, here we go. This is WGBB AM 1240 and W240 DFFM 95.9 Freeport, New York.
All right. Good evening and welcome to the Real Estate Plate. As always, I am your host, Nick Sakalis, coming to you live from the WGBB studios here in Merrick, New York. It looks like I got a really, really hot pink cover here on my microphone. Do I get is something special happening today? I get such a nice fluorescent type of
Nick, I had to make sure you're okay, man. I put a new cover, clean everything up for you. You ready to go?
All right, that is awesome. Not only do I have a new color, a nice funky color, makes me, it matches my shirt. Look at this. I didn't even know. I became, I came in here with intentions to have like my normal dingy microphone, and you took care of me today. Look at this. Very happy about that. Very happy about that. Thanks all for listening today, and for everybody that was listening last week during our interview with Ali Quinta. I appreciate that. I appreciate a lot of the continuous, and when I say continuous, I mean continuous follow-up and messages that have been coming to me in emails. Seems like people love Al. Wow, I'm in shock of what kind of. Well, I'm not shocked. The guy's a good guy. You definitely want to listen to that show if you haven't. Definitely got to hear a lot of things. He was really, really insightful, and he does have an open door anytime he wants to come back in again, because that was a really good interview, and we didn't even touch a lot of the stuff that he's been doing, along with a lot of the stuff that we were like reminiscing on his UFC career. So really, really good stuff. What else are we doing here? Well, let me give everybody the phone number. I didn't give everybody the phone number last week, partially because I forgot, partially because I really wanted to cram in as much as I could possibly get on Al's show with Al on the show last week, because I was trying to answer as much as the commentary from Reddit and from YouTube, Facebook, blah blah blah, etc., etc., etc. You know the whole drill on all the social media. By the way, if you are watching on the YouTube channel and you haven't done so already, click subscribe, click a like, put a comment. It won't hurt you. How you doing, driver's seat? Thanks for joining us tonight. It won't hurt you guys to put a little bit of a comment and subscribe. We're on the mission to get to 5,000 subscribers. We were there. We were actually well past 5,000 at one point, and we lost them all. Why? Because I got canceled by YouTube. I got canceled by Google. I got canceled by the googly eyes in the sky for things that I don't understand. Why I was not. Why maybe I said something that was inconsiderate, or maybe something that was not agreed to. But I lost. There was about a time where I lost about 2,000 subscribers. That really went nuts on it. Like I couldn't believe it, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Hey, that's life, But we're gonna get them back. Hey, NYC guy, thank you so much for joining us. And if you were watching on the channel, there was a little bit of lapse. I don't know, technical difficulties as usual. Again, the number here is 516-623-1240. If you want to call in, chime in, and give your a little bit of input, you're more than welcome to give a call. You got to get past Trevor over here, and if he is approving of you and likes your voice and doesn't get somewhat disturbed by you, he might pass you along to me. If not, Tough luck. Tough. You're laughing. You tell people how many people you reject. That's not. he's got an anti-troll, anti-nonsense type of censor on him. I doubt that's what he has on his machinery over there, but it is what it is. And we're playing around with the camera angles. Look at this. I got multiple angles that are hitting us and that kind of thing. We're getting so technologically advanced here on the real estate plate. We're catching up with the rest of the YouTube world. We're catching up with the 2022 crowd, hanging out with the young crowd, doing what we can. But that being said, there's a lot of things that I want to get into. Of course, somebody's going to be messaging me at these times of the day when I'm on the show, and I tell everybody that I'm doing a radio show and do not disturb me from 6 to 7. We have a do not disturb hanger on. I wish I could get one of those that are on the phone. Maybe I could be able to find one, but people need to know. 6 to 7 p.m. is dedicated to the real estate shit plate. So what are we going to be talking about today? Well, one of the things that we're going to be talking about is the market itself, and I'll get into some articles that came in through the Real Deal, and I'll explain to you why I'm going to go into the Real Deal moments. But it looks like things are not really being affected in the same way that everybody's been expecting, especially when it comes to the prices of property. And the real biggest reason is the inventory absolutely refuses to catch up. And I don't know what it is. What could it possibly be? Is it the sellers just refuse to put their places on the market? Is the fact that they don't know what they're going to buy? It is extremely abnormal as far as the amount of properties that go for sale in comparison to previous years. You're not seeing inventory come in. And when it does, if it's priced right, it moves. It moves quickly. So it's a really odd, really, really odd type of scenario. And I'm not sure why this is happening. And anybody that will tell you why it's happening are really, giving predictions, and they're telling you stuff that really is either educated guess, or they're really, taking out their crystal ball and pretending that they know what they're talking about. Don't listen to a lot of the pretenders. You got to sit there and gauge this market the way it is, day by day, because if you don't, you could blink and it could have changed right on you. It's just the way it is. Now I'm going to show everybody this. This is the Real Deal. This is the Real Deal. Real Deal magazine. This comes in there once a week. Really one of the go-to magazines, in my personal opinion. Look at this nice, lovely picture of a lion they have in the background. Look at that. I don't know. I love animals. I digress, but I love it. What does this have to do with anything with real estate, though? Gurdal Bibo, fine art. GurdalBibo.com. So they're putting fine art ads on the back of the real estate deal, the Real Deal magazine, which makes no sense to me. But hey, I could appreciate the picture itself. Same way I would never want to have a sponsor on the real estate plate that's not in any way affiliated with real estate. I don't know why they would want to actually put in a picture of fine art. I could understand why the advertiser would want to put in there, because the people that are reading this are usually people that can't afford this fine art. Let's see what we got here. I wonder if multifamily will have real price drop. What's your opinion on who would buy? Will investor asset management go or stay away? Okay. All right. So with multifamily, I think every month that passes, and more issues get resolved as far as some of the what the hell is that? I hear some. I hope everybody else could hear it, and they don't think I'm crazy, and I'm the only one that's listening to that. It's got some kind of weird vibe. I think Trevor's trying to mess with me right now. But let's not get too off the subject. Right now, multifamily, I believe, every month that passes, and more uh, non-payments and landlord-tenant issues start getting corrected, you'll see that the multifamily was somehow resolved. The other thing that I want to take into consideration, especially in NYC, is that when we see the actual number that comes out for what the stabilized increases will be, we know what the projections are right now. And from what it looks like we're going to be looking at around 2.5, 2 3/4 increase for a 1 year lease and a 4.5 ish type of increase for 2 years. Once we see that they're actually allowing increases to happen, people are taking control of their apartments again, trying to get their businesses in order as far as the buildings are concerned, and the values are now more defined rather than unclear the way they've been in the past. Because the biggest problem for multifamily was you had multiple situations where you have a declared rent roll of the property, but they're not collecting the income because the tenants weren't paying any rent. Therefore, nobody in the right mind was going to pay full value of that rent roll multiple, knowing that they're not collecting rent. It's very simple. As that gets resolved, you're going to see the actual values of the property starting to increase. Now, what I think right now, we must. I don't know if we hit a bottom with multifamily, but we did hit some lows as far as um, how long they take to sell, values depreciating based on the rent rolls. In some sectors, they did not get affected, but there is a little bit of a variable that's playing a big role. So stay tuned, multifamily. I think personally, um, multifamily will start making the as residential begins to take a dip going forward. I see multifamily starting to take a rise. That's my opinion. Now, when exactly that time comes, I'm not really sure yet. We'll get there. I'm not really sure yet of when that will come. I'm not going to predict the time factor. It could be by the end of the year, probably. But again, I'm looking at a crystal ball right now. When is this going to happen? But June, come next month, come right before next month, when they actually stamp and approve what the increases for the stabilized units will be. That's going to be the first step towards accelerated growth in multifamilies. That's my opinion. So let's stop making fun of this lion that's on the back. And it's nothing to make fun of. It's a majestic beast. It's a beautiful animal that we're looking at. But let's get into the real deal. One, why do I read the real deal? And why do a lot of professionals read the real deal? And this is not an advertisement for the real deal. They're not my sponsors. They're not whatever. They don't even know I exist. And I'm not going to say that they're always right or anything like that, but they're a really good source between getting the magazine that they provide every month and their online resources, because they have a lot more articles that don't show up in the magazine online on a daily basis that are very helpful and definitely a good read, especially if you're somebody that's active in the real estate business. You should be at least taking some consideration of this magazine. I don't read it as much as I used to because I do a lot of the online reading, but I'm an old soul. I'm a sucker for actual physical, tangible magazine. And this is like an oversized magazine. It's like big magazine. So they go through a lot of the stuff that's in here A lot of advertisements. Whatever. People they got to pay for this thing to be printed out, so they're gonna have a ton of advertisements. It doesn't bother me that much. Personally, I would rather have a lot more content to come in here and charge a little bit more for it and have less advertisement, but that's my personal opinion. But I could live with it either way because you get a lot of additional sources coming out of the internet platform that they have and the social media that they put out there and all the daily articles that they could. But you're seeing a lot of stuff pertaining to New York real estate right now here. Like here's a great thing that under the editor's notes, a ringside seat into the blood sport of New York real estate. Right there. Boom. Boom. Again, high-tech graphics, people. High-tech graphics. You're welcome, NYC guy. They should interview you. Who should interview me? The real deal? Probably not, because they'll probably hear things they don't want me to hear. Because I'm not subject to any type of special interests. But hey, this one is a thing that's focusing on the kings of New York real estate and that kind of thing. But I'm going to get to an article, a specific article that was in here that I wanted to kind of give you a little bit of insight on here. And I'll also go through the magazine, so you can understand what the format is. The thing that I like about this magazine, it politically leaning towards one way or the other. Yeah, it is sometimes doing that, but it's not over the top and it's not pushing the agendas on us, and that's something I like as well. Like just give us the news the way it is, and then let us make our own personal type of thoughts of what we're doing. Well, if it is for me, NYC guy, we'll see. We'll see if anybody from Real Deal is on here. They want to interview me and hear some insights and hear something that's unfiltered. So be it. Okay. So this is the article that I was actually referring to, and it's based on a little bit of what I was talking about earlier. Where have all the sellers gone? Okay, and this is going to dive a little deeper into. I'm not going to read the entire article on the show right now because obviously you're not here, you're not coming in, and you're not listening on WGBB, and you're not watching on YouTube to watch me just read. If you like me just to read stuff, I could make a channel just reading things. And if that delights you, I could do that for you. But this is not what I'm going to be doing here. But the highlights of here is there's a quote here. It says, "This shortage of inventory nationally is not going away." Why is it not going away? And I'm going to tell you something. I personally believe that they are really as clueless to the exact facts of why sellers are not buying as I am. They could give you little bits and pieces and give you a little bit of understanding of why this is happening. But personally, I think everybody's a little bit dumbfounded by what is going on right now. Now, one of the things they highlight is hesitant sellers. I'll read this. Sky-high home values might seem like an incentive to sell, but brokers say that they're actually preventing homeowners from listing. Suddenly, the cost to move got a lot more expensive, said Rick Sobin, managing partner at Properties Chicago, Gold Coast, and Lincoln offices. Really, it doesn't matter that it's Chicago. It's really the same thing going on over here in New York. It's making people say, hey, I think I'm going to stay here for a bit longer and see what happens. I get that all the time, people. I get that all the time. All the time. Red tape. Although building filings for new homes are on the rise, actual developing those homes is another matter. Home builders have gotten the signal and something is out of whack. That's another sign. And that's something I didn't actually step on. So here's the thing on that. yeah, it's getting tougher and tougher to get things passed, and it's taking longer and longer to get things passed. So if you want to get new development or partitioning of lots, or you want to have new spaces that are designed or subdivided and that kind of thing, it's becoming a longer process to have that done, which is also causing more delays on new inventory coming in. It's just the truth. Sorry. This is what's happening. They got a couple other things that they are forecasting. Like they're seeing a long foreseen crunch. Okay, I'll read a little bit of this as well. A long foreseen crunch. The supply of single family homes across the country has been on a downward trajectory since the 1980s. Researchers with Freddie Mac estimate the construction that has completed 65,000 new entry level homes in 2020 has less than 1/5 of the yearly average in the late 70s and 80s. That's true. And again, there's a lot of red tape, and the cost has gone through the roof. So if the cost has gone through the roof, where's the margins? There's no margin. There's no incentive to want to build. If that's the case, there's a lot more incentive and money to make in rehabbing than actually building. Keys said demand has also been fueled by the long anticipated forces such as millennials, which now make up more than the largest U.S. demographic at 72 million. Believe that? 72 million people in this country are millennials. That's a lot. Reaching how many Gen Xers are? We have to look into that. I think we're probably the second largest group right now, because the baby boomers are one by one starting to go into another world. Demographic this was foreseen before COVID that there would be a demographic sweet spot, he said. Demand has shown signs of shaking, and existing home sales dropped for the second straight month in March, according to National Association of Realtors. Yes. So here's the thing that the media is actually focusing on about the sales dropping. What they're not taking into consideration is the fact that there's less homes for them to sell on the market. Therefore, there's no other option for them other than for them to drop. They have to drop because there's not enough to able to get to the same levels. The only stuff that's lingering and staying on the market is stuff that has either issues, some holdbacks, some other kind of situation that is really, really holding back that house. It's defective in one way or the other. I'm one NYC guy. I'm not sure what you are one of, but let me know. I jump around from a lot of topics from time to time. So if I get to a comment and I'm not realizing what you're addressing, I apologize, but I'm just trying to get to them as fast as possible. And you got Battle of the Builders. Here's another article. You got a lot of stuff going on over here. It's crazy. Here's supply chain durations have doubled. If the supplier said 4 weeks, it's now 8 weeks. It's going back to what we're saying. It's getting nuts. New York's top general contractors navigate through supply chain woes, emissions, caps, and more. These are articles you all want to read. Again, I'm not endorsing the real deal because I'm being in any way compensated or anything like that with them. And everybody here knows that, I don't really care for this kind of stuff to be compensated just to give my opinion and stuff like that. That's not my thing. I'm going to say the good, I'm going to say the bad, and I'm going to say the ugly. And there's a lot of good things that come out of this magazine. So it's definitely something. Oh, NYC guy, you're a millennial. So I have to be mindful of how judgmental I am of your demographic. All kidding aside, millennials, you got your work cut off for it. You see me complaining. right now a lot of the time about a lot of the issues that we're having here in New York and with housing issues and um, quality of life and the cost value of being able to live. But you're going to have it even worse than us. I could assure you, unless things start getting really corrected and really, really, really put in the right path for the next 10, 20, 30 years, it's only going to get worse here in New York, to be quite honest with you. And I say this all the time. It really, really bothers me that there's so many options, there's so many solutions out there to be able to correct a lot of the problems that we're having in real estate and housing here in New York. And because of special interests, let's be honest, corruption, corrupt politicians, and a whole bunch of other factors are in place, people lining each other's pockets, that this is not happening. And there's also a very, very blatant type of issue that's happening right now that nobody's really talking about because they're afraid to. And I don't understand why they're afraid to. It's right in our face. Everybody knows it, but yet we're not going to talk about it. And we're not going to ignore it. Why? We're going to ignore it. Why? Half the stuff that's being done as far as laws and issues that we're seeing are basically put in place for the sole reason of votes. For votes. When you see somebody out there that is campaigning hard and they're backing something like an insane kind of thing. Now I'm going to get irritated. Now they get into this insane kind of thing called cancel rent. Okay? Piggybacking on what the eviction moratorium was and that kind of thing. They're backing it. They're like, oh, this is the best thing in the world. Yeah, really. It's the best thing in the world. So let's look at it from a realistic point of view right now. Let's look at it at a super realistic point of view. We have a situation where a huge portion of the city and the state's income is coming from real estate, or if we don't want to say directly from real estate related property taxes, things that are being attached to the real estate. Okay, there's a huge amount of influx of income that's coming into there. If that income gets cut off at any certain point or grossly reduced, this city is going bankrupt. I say that with absolute confidence. Okay, so when they're sitting there and they're pushing to stop income from coming into the landlords and the housing providers, they're basically saying that we don't care if we're going to bankrupt the city. We don't care what's going to happen 10, 20 years from line right now. Because this is not like global issues that we talk about, like global warming and that kind of thing. And I'm not getting into those type of topic right now because those are longer term effect type of situations where we're worried about the next millennium. We're worried about the next 1,000 years. We're worried about the future of the earth. We're not worried about necessarily what's going to happen within the next 5 years. This right now, we're worried about what's going to happen in the next 5 years. And to have a city like New York City, a state, the Empire State, New York, in a position where it could go bankrupt, that's one, unacceptable in every way possible. Two, it is a blatant the effect of real special interests that are happening, and it has to be ended. It really does. How are we going to sit there and justify cancel rent? And how can a politician out there that is worth their salt and actually has any kind of any kind of respectability for themselves and for the city that they're trying to represent, or the town, whatever the case is, how can we sit there and accept what they're telling us at face value? How can we do that? It's ridiculous. Come on, people. Come on. Let's wake up. Let's wake up. You keep it 100. So, here's the thing. Here's the thing, people. I'm not going to keep driving this home. I'm not going to keep beating a dead horse, but I will keep bringing this to everybody's attention. Be wary of what's happening. Look at the right places and the right reason for things to be done, and understand what you are advocating and promoting. It is super, super important that if you're going to get behind a cause, if you're going to push for an agenda, to understand that for every action there is a reaction. Okay? I just mentioned a very simple thing, that by advocating and pushing for something to be as really asinine as cancel rent, to push for something like that, you're really putting yourself in a position. You're putting in a position. What the hell is this squeaky noise? This damn chair is squeaky. This is, driving me crazy. But I'm so I hope it doesn't drive you all as crazy as it's driving me right now. But it's driving me crazy. The squeakiness on the. I have to sit perfectly still because every time I do this, you can hear it. I can hear it. Either way, my point is, you're looking at it from the aspect. Rents are up. Yes, rents are up. And I'll get to that in a second. I'll get to that in 1 second. And there's a lot of really good reasons why rents are up. And, everybody, it's part of the cause and effect that I was just saying. For every action, there's a reaction. Okay? So we went through a eviction moratorium. Just keep this, what I'm telling you. Every action has a reaction. So we just went through an eviction moratorium. The city took it upon themselves. The state put it upon themselves. The government put it upon themselves to throw all the burden and all the financial liability for people that may or may not have lost their jobs during this pandemic. This federally mandated, state mandated, city mandated lockdown and shutdown of all businesses. So during that time, they decided to do that and say to the landlords, you know what? We're going to do that, and we're all in this together. Like, I love that quote. We're all in this, which is the biggest crock of crap out there as far as we're all in this together. But let's say we're all in this together, and you're going to take the brunt, and you're not going to be allowed to take any action for people that are doing non-payment in the name of COVID, regardless if they are truly unemployed or not. And if you try, you can't do anything about it anyway, because we're closing down the courts and we're going to backlog them, and you can't do anything about it anyway. So damned if you do, damned if you don't. What is the reaction to that? Well, I'll tell you what the reaction is to that. The reaction to that is, one, what Driver's Seat actually just brought up. Rents are up, and I could guarantee you they're going to continue going up. Why? Because landlords are going to be a lot more retaliate. They're going to retaliate in a way where it's going to be trying to recoup their losses. And they're getting away with it right now. And I'll tell you why they're getting away with it right now. Because of the fact that just like there's not a lot of housing for sale, not a lot of homes for sale available. The amount of inventory of vacant units, even though in the city you got a lot of it, everything surrounding the city does not have a lot. And even in the city, you're still seeing a lot of bucking and a lot of retaliation and a lot of non-acceptance of dropping the rents. Why? Because one, they want to recoup their money, which I don't blame them. And two, well, they're going to take their sweet time. They're going to try to see if they'll be able to get increases and everything like that. So that might change a little bit. In June when the new laws go into effect, as far as increases being legal and justified in New York City on stabilized units. Once that's established, you might see the reins move a little bit, and you might see more inventory go on there. Because I can assure you, I know many situations where you have landlords that are holding on to plenty of units that are vacant that will not put them on the market. They'll rather keep them vacant right now. Why? Because they're getting dirt cheap rents under the stabilized guidelines right now. They have no ability to be able to increase the rents, and they just got an eviction moratorium. So what? They'd rather sit on it if they have the ability to, because not everybody has the ability to, but they'd rather sit on it vacant and not make any money on it, because by renting it at the low rates that they have right now, they're actually, it's almost like they're paying the tenants to be in there because it's costing them more than actually making on the units. Sounds a little ridiculous. It sounds a little crazy, but it's the truth. Sorry. Somebody's got to say it. And I don't know why there's not more people online right now, and there's not more people advocating for these, talking about these issues and talking them through. A lot of people that have a lot bigger influence than me on the web. Why they're not actually talking about all these gurus? Let's call them real estate gurus, fake gurus, whatever the hell you want to call them. Why they're not sitting there talking about it? Why? Because it doesn't help them in any way. They just want to get you those get rich quick schemes to make money. Sorry, it's the truth. What else can I say about that? There's no real estate shows here in Long Island. I think I'm the only one left. You know, as far as you know, Trevor, is there any other real estate show on Long Island, Queens, that does it regularly every single week? Is there?
Not that I know of.
Not that you know of. I don't know what of either. I do occasionally hear some that are pretty much infomercials every so often, like once a month or whatever the case is. That sounds like a big paid advertisement for a half an hour. Every so often, I'll hear a realtor show that will pop on, and that's coming out of the Connecticut, but I think it's through a national thing that it's almost like propaganda coming in from the realtor.com and realtor organization, basically self-promoting them and telling you how great the realtors are. They give you every so often a tip, but it's all lined in with advertising and some kind of agenda that's in place. But I don't think there's any type of other real estate show. Why? Because, you know, it's like a witch hunt right now on real estate professionals here in New York. You open your mouth and you say the wrong thing, you got a problem. That's how it is. Why I get away with it? I don't know. Maybe the fact that, you do this long enough, you do enough business, you know that, the clients that you have, you're going to keep will stay with you because they already follow the guidelines and the way you work, and they like the results you brought them in the past. Maybe that's why I feel more confident about keeping my mouth open and saying more things. Yeah, NYC guy, I think I am the only one. And if I'm not, I'd love to hear who else does one, because it'd be great to see what anybody else in the area has to say. I don't think there's another real estate show like this out there. Somebody that's just comes here routinely every single Monday, once a week, does it for an hour, gets aggravated, yells about real estate, talks about real estate, embraces real estate, loves this business, wants to share as much knowledge with the community as much as possible. I don't think there's anybody else out there. And I'm not just saying this. I'm not saying this because I'm sitting here and like patting myself on the back and telling you how great I am and whatever the case. I'm sure some of the stuff that you hear here is useful. I'm sure some of the stuff that you hear from me is useless to you. But regardless, everything I'm telling you is coming from my expertise, my experience, and it's all coming from the heart. I'm not necessarily saying things for shock factor. I'm not saying this to entertain people. I as much as I would love to be as entertaining as much as possible about this subject. Let's be honest. Unless you like real estate, unless you're into real estate, unless you have a personal stake or idea of either buying real estate in the future, or you're intrigued by it, or you're looking into the investment aspect of it, or etc., or you're a landlord or a tenant, whatever the case is, you don't want to listen to the show. You rather will watch somebody on TikTok dancing and shaking themselves all over the place to some weirdo song and getting a million hits. That's usually what you're usually doing, but this is for the people that actually have any interest, and I generally enjoy this. I could be doing all this stuff at this time. I could be definitely doing all this stuff at this time. I could be sitting there and, I could be home. How about that? That'd be a novel idea. Be home before 7 o'clock. Wow, that would be great. That doesn't really happen for me, but I would love to do that. But I feel like an obligation. I feel like there's something pulling me that I have to be here. I have to come here and do something for you. It's me. That's my thoughts. Who's this? Michael Stoller has a show, but it's not as good as you. Really, Michael Stoller. I'd love to know what time he plays and what channel he plays as well. That'd be great. If you could share that information with me, I would love to be able to check it out. And I'll comment. By the way, I am not anti-commenting on other people's blogs and posts and stuff like that and giving my feedback. I've done that plenty of times. Some people embraced it. Some people didn't like it. Some people erased it. But I'm going to say it the way it is. I really am. I've done that plenty of times on other people's real estate channels, and shows and that kind of thing. I'm not sure if this Michael Stoller has a radio show or if they have just a blog or podcast or whatever. Let me know. I'll definitely check it out. I'll give my feedback. I definitely will. Now, I'm going to take just a second because I don't do this enough. And I get criticized because I don't give everybody my information, how to reach me, how to contact me, how to blah, 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 where you can find me on social media. So I'm going to give everybody a little bit of understanding. So first of all, if you're listening on WGBB 95.9 FM, you're listening at 12:40 a.m. What I usually do is I'm on here Monday, 6 to 7 p.m. and you can hear me as you're driving back in traffic back to your home. That's where you can definitely catch me. You can hear me. If you like to visually see what I'm doing and have a visual to the voice, you could come onto YouTube, which you can find me very easily by putting in either Nick Sicalis, guarantee you're going to find me right away, or you can write The Real Estate Plate, and you'll definitely find me through there as well. There's definitely places where you can find me. The other thing that you could do is you could go onto Instagram, and on Instagram, I go by the handle. See, I'm getting down with the lingo right now. I know the lingo. You could go by the handle the Cicalis group. Look at this. Look at how sophisticated I'm getting right now. I'm putting it up there. That's my Instagram handle. And then while you're doing that and you want to send me a direct email or something along those lines, you could go to Real Estate Plate Radio at gmail.com. Gmail.com. And you could email me there and you could send me attachments, but please don't send me anything improper. Because I have had stuff like that sent to me in the past, and I don't like it. Because sometimes I do that. I open these things up while I'm at work or while in front of other people, and I do not want any adult pictures being sent to me. Please. Not necessary. I've probably seen it all in my life. I don't need to see any more. You get a lot of that, Trevor? People sending you inappropriate pictures and stuff like that through messages?
They don't know my email.
Well, I don't know if they send it through Facebook or anything like that, through your messages.
No, I don't get any.
See, I don't know. I get like all this crazy. Maybe it's because you have like a nice, kind face, and you're a pastor, and you're a man of God. They look at me. They're like, this guy's the Antichrist. I'm going to send him everything under the moon that I shouldn't be sending. Yeah, maybe one day what I'll do is I'll open up my Facebook Messenger and show you. I don't even read half of the stuff anymore on there because that's why I'm not even bringing up the Facebook page that I have. But you could actually go look it up. Nick Cicalis, your real estate problem solver. You could look me up through there. I got a account as well, Nick Cicalis. You can find me on Facebook. And the stuff I get through that messenger, oh my God, it's crazy. Solicitations, this, that, prostitutes, all kinds of stuff. I like you very much. These are things coming out from like Hong Kong and from Thailand and Japan. I don't know if it's for dial-a-dates or mail-in brides or whatever the case is. Like, what the hell are they looking at me? Why are they sending me this stuff? But they do. So please, none of that. I appreciate that. But the other thing that I wanted to say is we have all those platforms. You could message us. You could always comment on one of the videos, and you'll be able to reach me one or the other. Now, I can't promise I'll be able to get to you instantaneously. Every so often, you'll catch me at that moment where I'm on there, and I'm checking all the messaging. A message will pop up. I'll answer instantaneously. It could happen, but I can assure you it doesn't happen that often because there's a lot of stuff that comes through, and I have to filter everything through and see what I'm watching. So, that being said, there's many ways to be able to contact me. The other thing is if you have a true real estate story or something that you really want me to address, send me the link, send me the article to that kind of thing, and I definitely will make a point to address it and discuss it. Going back to NYC guy on that Michael Stoller guy, so he apparently has a thing on YouTube, Cooney TV 75. I'll check him out. You know what? I'll check him out tonight. I'll see what he's all about. If he's good, he's good. If he's not, he's not. Everybody's got their own prerogative. If you got something I agree with, I'll agree with him. If you got something I disagree with him, I will make sure I disagree with him. That's how it usually works. In this world where you get canceled for disagreeing with somebody, I still disagree with people. I don't have a fear of disagreeing with people. I still believe in the fact that we have the right to agree to disagree. It's just simple as that. Now, I thought I had brought another magazine with me. Which it seems like I did not. I don't know what I did with it. I probably left it in the car. For Realtor Magazine. And I'm going to have to bring that in next week to be able to discuss it because there was one specific article in there. Oh, actually, no, I did bring it. Look at this. I'm more organized than I think. Look at this. This is Realtor Magazine. I get this every week. I'm sorry, every month. Look at the pictures down here. Look at this. Let's just analyze the picture that they have here. You see that? You got a picture of a young couple, and they're all sitting there and looking very happy and really like in depth on whatever is being shown to them by the person in the middle. And I'm assuming she's a broker or realtor that's showing them something. And now you have the woman over here, you have the woman over there, and she's like doing this with a half smile. And then you have this guy over here, and he's doing, whoa, look at that. And then she's all smiley and everything like that. I could assure you, this is not the way people look these days when they're buying houses. They're usually looking like this. Why won't they accept my offer? Why is there no houses available for me to see? Why are they so expensive? You're not seeing people all gentle and happy and all this stuff. I'm just making an observation. Look at this picture, Trevor.
I see it.
Yeah.
Nobody looked that happy.
I would love to go to this utopia where everybody's all happy, and just just like, ooh, everybody's on the same page. Nobody's yelling at each other. No, it's a nice picture. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely wrong. Definitely a novel idea that people actually are this way. But I can assure you, from personal experience and daily activity, and see not only stuff that I'm interacting with. Don't get me wrong. It's not like everybody's always angry at my deals. I have a lot of happy people on my deals. But these days specifically, everybody's pissed. The whole world's pissed at each other. Like, and these sellers are greedy, and these buyers are asking for too much, and this and that, whatever. Oh my God, it's just like it's a war, and this is the role of a realtor and a broker these days. You are referee. You are playing referee and mediator for two different armies that are fully at war, and that's buyers and sellers. That's basically what you're dealing with. And the better of a broker you are, a better realtor you are, and you're able to understand how to bring people together and find a common place and a meeting of minds, and where somebody's a little bit happy and a little bit angry, and a little bit happy and a little angry on the other side as well. And now all of a sudden you have a good deal that's put in place. That's usually, what you're looking at. But I appreciate that, NYC guy. I think I'm the only one that talks only New York real estate, so I'll take that as a compliment. But if I am truly the only one that talks only New York real estate, then I don't really have any competition. So anybody listening, the one sees this now or on the replay, and they're doing New York real estate, you tell me, are you doing it too? Is there other channels? The girl sitting looks hot. Well, she is a very good-looking woman. I will say that much. What do you think, Trevor? Good-looking woman? Yeah, she's a good-looking woman. Yeah. And she's gentle. She's doing this. Oh, I'm happy. I'm found my dream house. Well, everybody's good looking here. Look at them. They're all happy. They're good looking. They're smiling. They all look like they should be on a Colgate commercial. They're all happy. But it looks like I'm running out of time. And then Trevor's going to throw me out. And he's still pissed at me from last week for holding him over. So I need to be really quick on this and run this. So I'm going to say something really quickly, and I'll dive a little deeper into it a little later on. I'll dive into a little on another show, but I wanted to point this article. First of all, by the way, I am a realtor. You know why I'm a realtor? Because I have no choice. I'm with Coldwell Banker, just like other big brokerages throughout the state. We're all stuck. If we want to use MLS, we're forced to use realtor. That's not a monopoly. I don't know. Let's talk to our monopoly people. Let's talk to our antitrust people. We're forced to be part of this makeshift monkey business, make believe union. That's what I will call it, because it's not. It has all the potential and pretends to be in the form of a union, but it's not. Oh, by the way, invest in RPAC. They're always asking for more money. But that being said, New York State's climate plan. So this is an article. They actually put some decent articles in here every so often. And there's a few things. And on July 18, 2019, the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act was signed into law by then Governor Andrew Cuomo. Hey, our good friend Andrew Cuomo had left another gift that keeps on giving for us. Andrew, thank you for another gift that keeps on giving. This law provided for the creation of the 22-member Climate Action Council, which has met more than a dozen times since its initial meeting in March 2020. Okay, so this is going to get into it. I'm not going to go through the whole article. I don't have the time because he's going to yank me. But I just wanted to say the goal is by 2050 to reduce the emissions by 85% from 1990 levels. Okay, that's an admirable type of goal to have. And if they can actually accomplish that by not decimating something else, that'll be great. How will this transition to clean energy be funded? Although the Council's recommendations call for a scalping of public financial incentives, it's unclear the source of the funding for these financial incentives would be. To date, the legislator has introduced on one proposal, the Climate and Community Investment Act, that would provide revenue for financing and variety of programs as state transactions, carbon neutral economy. NYSAR opposes the CCIA. This is NYSAR is New York State Association of Realtors. Largely due to the estimated impact on consumer energy bills from the taxes, fees, and fines included legislation. Look, they're actually fighting for something that makes sense. Look at that. Look at that. But here's the thing. You know what? I'm going to table this because I really want to talk about this in the next episode. But I'm going to leave this very quick. And I want everybody I want to end the show leaving with everybody something to think of. Global warming is definitely something that is a real thing that's happening. Whether it's happening because of what we're doing here, whether it's accelerated by what we're doing, or whether we're going through a cycle, the way the Earth has gone through cycles for many, many times over and over again through thousands and millions of years of the Earth's history. Whether that's the case or not, it is something that is real and it does exist. So, taking initiative and trying to help the situation is not a bad thing. Now, here's the problem. We need to figure out playing a delicate balancing act. Because if we go too heavy-handed towards this incentive and you decimate a bunch of people, who's going to deal with those casualties? Who's going to do it? Oh, what? They're collateral damage. Well, all right, sorry. We got to break some eggs before we make an omelet. So if Trevor hears an egg, sorry, we broke you. Oh, sorry. We broke you and we fed it to somebody else that's cheating unemployment. How about that? How does that work for you? You know, if I'm an egg, hey, I don't know what kind of person was going to eat egg that looks like me, but hey, if I'm an egg, we broke you too. You know, that's basically what happened. I don't want to deal with broken eggs to make an omelet. I want to find solutions that, yeah, maybe they're not the best solutions. Maybe they're not the most optimal solution, but it's a solution that will allow society to continue to move forward while repairing the problems that we're having. I don't think that's so outrageous. So I'm going to leave everybody on that thought. Think about what I'm saying. We're going to continue this at the next episode of Real Estate Plate. And hopefully I get some really good feedback. I gave everybody the social media how to get in touch with me. But until next, actually, we're not going to be here next week. So next week is Memorial Day. So have an awesome Memorial Day. I'll do a live stream special bonus episode for everybody for that day, but I will not be in the studio. So if you're listening on WGBB, sorry, we won't be there, but watch on YouTube, watch on Facebook. You'll see me through there. Have an awesome, awesome, awesome Memorial Day. Have a great time. Trevor, you try to get some rest and you try to get some beach time or something like that because you got to do it.
I'm definitely going to get some rest.
All right, I'm glad for that. So I will be with everybody once more in 2 weeks here in WGBB Studios, but I'll be with you a couple more times on the web. Have a great night. Have a great week. Have a great Memorial Day weekend, and make lots of money in real estate. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. God bless.